Ryan McBlain here. I've been asked to make a video of making liposomal vitamin C, and in deference to current virus situation, we will put on latex gloves. Well, I don't expect to have any issues here, but just in the spirit of the times, we'll take extra precautions. Okay. And see, they aren't the easiest things to get on. There. Now, first thing we're going to do is make solutions of baking soda, and I use Arm & Hammer, and vitamin C, and I use the Now brand. I imagine Pure Bulk would also be another good source, and you may have other sources you use. All right, vitamin C first. We've already pre-measured 6 ounces of liquid in both a 1 cup measure and a 2 cup measure. In the 2 cup measure, I'm going to place 2 of these tablespoons in that measure with the 6 ounces of liquid. And get that done. Then we're going to put 1 tablespoon a measure of baking soda in the 1 cup measure. There we go. Set that aside. Now, we stir both of these. You get not completely in solution, but mostly in solution. Then, the trick is to decant one into the other slow enough that you don't produce too many bubbles. Now, you do want to do this separate from having them with a lecithin, because the bubbles will not burst and you'll end up with foam all over the place. And as you see, you can get a pretty good reaction. Classic baking soda and acid reaction. And doesn't, as you can see, it's very easy to come close to overflowing it. You don't want to overflow it. So continue to decant. Now for the liquid, I use distilled water. You can use other sources of safe water, but distilled makes it really pretty safe. It's sterile and everything. If you read the one link I went to, there's a secret ingredient you can add to the water that helps, according to his research, helps with making liposomes. Unfortunately, there's a patent on that, and the kind of patent is such that, as I understand it, I can't actually talk about it or actually use it. And so we will leave it for you to read, and you can decide whether you're going to add that ingredient or not. Anyway, we keep decanting it back and forth until we get all the baking soda out of the small cup, or at least all you're going to tolerate doing. And we'll set that aside. And go back to stirring this. Now, we want this completely reacted. We don't want, or it'll foam up like crazy when you put it in the blender. And so this might be kind of boring for a while as we sit here and stir the baking soda and vitamin C until it's all reacted. Because believe me, you really don't want to have any lecithin in here. You'll end up with foam. It would be like the, I think Lucy had an episode of the washing machine putting suds all over the place. And yeah, that would be sort of the situation you'd have. Now, it is calming down pretty much, but I'm still not willing to chance it. You could actually make this up ahead of time, but as I asked to make the video, and I like to do this in one fell swoop. If you notice the solution, once the vitamin C goes into solution, it's got a slight amber, a very, very pale white wine. Actually reminds me a little bit of the sap from maple trees. Has that slight golden hint. And yes, it looks like the bubbles are about done. All right, let's just move that aside so that we can bring into the view the Oster blender. And what we will do is we will pour the mix in to the blender carafe. And we're going to add the lecithin to the blender and then blend. All right. Now I've done this I've done it as little as 9 tablespoons. I've done as much as 12, even more. I've done 24 tablespoons, but I didn't like how thick that was. So 9 to 12 is the range. 2 1/3 cup measures is about 11 2/3. So I can scoop in, make sure you don't get the desiccator pack. And if it's not quite full, no big problem. It's a little, so that's a 1/3 scoop, not quite full. Another 1/3 scoop, not quite full, and so that's something like 10 to 11 tablespoons. Close enough. You got a lot of leeway on that. Okay, and again, I use sunflower lecithin from Now. You can probably get it bulk from other people. And I found that the sunflower tastes far better than the soy product. Okay, so you put the cap on here, and we push the, well, high. We're going to do this for 2 minutes, so it's going to be pretty boring as we wait for this blender to blend. So I'm going to get the next stage ready while that continues. Now, I usually blend it for 2 minutes, but we'll go a little bit shorter just to speed this process along some, okay? Now, we can remove the carafe and set the motor aside so that we can see the next stage. Okay, so this is the sonicator, or basically jewelry cleaner, that I use. It has this removable top, which makes it easy to pour the water out. And I've been using 2 forms of ball jelly jars or jam jars. And you take the lid off the carafe, and we pour. You can see the water line. The water has been filled in the tank with the jars in place up to the maximum line in the tank. Oh, put a little too much in that one. Maybe that happens, no problem. We just decant it back and start and try again. That looks about right. So I got 2 of them done, and I've got 2 more spare. I pull the 2 out that are done. They're not done processing, they're done being transferred into. And we take the lids. I keep the lids on the jars after through the dishwasher to keep dust and things out. We want to add as few contaminants as possible. And then I repeat the process with the 2 empty ones. There's a little extra. I add a little bit. And then I swap those 2 back out and put the other 2 back in and top them off. Okay. So that has our tank all ready, and the jam jars in there ready to go. So the first thing on this machine is you press the power button, which move this back a little bit so you can get that in there. The power button is right here. Then you press that twice to get level 3. And it works a lot better if it's plugged in. Two, and there's 3. And then you set the timer to 480, which is 8 minutes. And then you press on. And we could sit here and wait for 8 minutes. And then we do it again for the second time. Then I swap the water out to keep it cool, and then do 2 more times, and then repeat that process with the other 2 jam jars, which I set the lids on in the interim. And when I'm done, I put them into a 1-quart mason jar, and it goes in the refrigerator. One of the things you can add to improve on the flavor substantially is about a capful of vanilla flavoring. And a little bit more, a little bit less according to your taste. And I imagine that an oily-based lemon taste flavor would work too, because one of the companies, their product does taste very much of lemon and lemongrass. You could try that. You go more adventurous for rum flavoring or something else like that. Okay, and that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it worked for you. Bye.